Good morning, everyone. I literally, not even joking, just woke up, put my glasses on, and grabbed my phone, and I said, Today is the day. Today is the day. I have to get a video out. I've let it lapse almost 2 weeks. Obviously, the world has kind of gone a little crazy. Everything has stopped. And so, I fell off the bandwagon, not getting things done on time. So I decided, okay, well, today we're just gonna vlog. We're gonna vlog what's going on, and I'm gonna share with you guys some of the books that I've been reading over the last month. Of course, this last week has been a little bit off because the kids are home from school, and we were getting prepared and ramped up for whatever this uncertainty of COVID-19 brings us. So, here we go. Coronavirus! Alright, so the last week I haven't really read anything. I need to really get back into it. But we finally got into the groove of the homeschooling-ish thing that we're doing over here. So here are a couple of the books that I have read in the last month. One for the Money by Janet Ivanovich. So this was a surprisingly fun story. I just finished it a couple days ago, and I can't tell you, I laughed so hard during so many points in that book. It is basically a book about this woman who's named Janet Plum, and it has pretty much has a dysfunctional life, like completely dysfunctional, loses her job, doesn't have a husband or a boyfriend or a man, lives in a big Italian family who's always worried about what's going on with her and wants to be involved in every thought, activity, solution for her. And so she's trying to get her life together, and she finds a job as a bail bondsman, a recovery agent. And her first job is to recover this man who skipped bail, who is being accused of murder. He's a police officer who shot and killed somebody. When she finds out who it is, she realizes that it is her ex-lover fling person from several times in her growing up years. So she's kind of like doesn't like this guy, like has a love-hate relationship, has been attracted to him a couple times in her life, and he's like kind of the smooth talker character, and so she goes to try to recover him, and a bunch of craziness ensues, and she ends up getting stuck in the middle of this murder investigation, and she finds out that he did not commit the murder, he was framed, and so she decides that she's going to help him out, but kind of gets herself in danger a bunch because she really doesn't know how to be a recovery agent at all. The book is a little dated. I think it's kind of feels like the 90s a little bit. And I'm pretty sure it was actually written in the 90s. Janet Ivanovich actually has like 36 or 26 of these books in this series already. So it's a very long series. I don't know if I'll be able to get to all of them. I definitely had fun reading this book. And like I said, I laughed so much. The storyline and the characters are just so memorable, so unique and fun. It is a little dated, but still you can kind of see this Jersey attitude, the Jersey life going on there. And if you're a little bit older like me, you'll appreciate some of the dating because it kind of gives you like flashbacks and reminiscing of your own past. But the story was great. I cannot wait to get to the next books, which is Two for the Dough, and hopefully I'll be able to give you a little bit of an update on that series as well. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Why did I put myself through it? I just got done reading Westering Women by Sandra Dallas, and it was so tragic. Oh my gosh. My mother-in-law told me that I was a woman in hysterics, and if we were in the 1800s, I would be put in an insane asylum while reading this book. I cried, I laughed, I cried, I cried, I cried, I cried. There was not a lot of laughter in this book, mostly sadness, and yeah, I can't even. It basically follows this woman named Maggie who is in an abusive relationship, and in order to get away from it, she signs up to become a bride going to the gold country in California, and she brings her young daughter along, and then we hear about her past and like the abuse that they went through, and it just made, I mean, I cannot unread what I read, and it was just so dramatic, tragic, and just disgustingly horrible. And I honestly historically would think that it would be logical that this kind of stuff could have happened to this woman. But anyway, she decides to sign up. While she's signing up, she meets this huge giant woman whose name is Mary, and Mary is kind of made fun of a lot because she's really tall and really like thick, and like she's a burly woman, and she decides she wants to go out west so that she can find a husband and kind of be useful and not just sit around being owned by her brother, basically. And so the two of them, along with their daughter, go on an adventure with like, I think it was 100 other women, and they make good friends, and they have some tragic things that happen on the road, and so many things happen on the road. No. I don't even know. Like, I can't even tell you. It was so sad. It was so sad. The only thing that I really struggled with this book is that at the very ending, it was kind of just like thrown up. Like, the resolution was just thrown up on us. And it wasn't intertwined well. The narrative wasn't really good. It was just like the end. This is what happens to the women. So-and-so marries so-and-so. So-and-so does so-and-so. And everyone's happily ever after. So that was a little frustrating. But the last couple of words, like the last paragraph of the book, was pretty profound. And, you know, basically I'll just tell you, it's like, she wasn't your sister. She was our sister. So on this ride, 100 people, 100 women start, say only 26, I think, end up making it. This is very tragic. It was very, very tragic. That's all I can say about it. I'm done. The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. I can't even believe that I waited this long to read the book. I sometimes shy away from romances because I'm not always into that kind of a genre. I can't even tell you like how satisfied I am that I read this book. The story follows the main character, Kara, I think it's Kara, as she goes to Alaska to basically meet up with her estranged father, who has come down with cancer. And she goes to spend time with him and figure out if they can have a relationship again. And while she's there, she runs into all these new people that are in her father's life, and she connects with on a very like emotional and intellectual level. But also there's a man named Jonah, who's a bush pilot, who gets on her nerves. And so it's kind of an enemies to lover type of a plot. At first, they're just absolutely at each other's throat all the time. And then we see it unfold into this beautiful romantic story that is all around redemption and love and finding second chances. this second book comes out this month, and I already pre-ordered it, so I'm very excited to get into that one. I know it's a continuation story from the original one, and it follows Kara and Jonah again, but this time in Toronto, not just Toronto, but in Toronto as well as Alaska. And I think it's going to be an excellent story. So, can't wait. Hope to give you a breakdown on that. But I would say that anyone who loves Alaska and adventure and redemption and second chances and a little bit of romance, actually a lot of romance, should totally pick up Simple Wild. It is an amazing book. Do the worm.
Go forward. Okay. Bob, and you go. There you go.
Okay, so I went to Agway to go get our seeds for this year. For some reason, I just had this idea that I need to go there, check it out, get everything I needed now, just because, if you guys don't know, New York has a lot of numbers in the city and in the state as a whole. So a lot of New York's businesses are shutting down. I'm sure they're doing it all over the United States, but it seems like it's extreme here. So I figured if I was going to plant my seedlings in the next 3 weeks, I should probably go and get my stuff now. Plus, I need to revitalize my soil a little bit because the garden back there has been around for a very long time, and I don't think anyone has recently revitalized it with fertilizer. So I went and got all of that today, and lucky for me, Agway was open, but today was their last day of being open, and from tomorrow on, they will be closed with the exception of a couple call-in orders. So I'm glad I did that. Now we have to go get the fertilizer and start prepping our grow area. Daughter of the Pirate King. Yeah. By Tracy Levenseller. This is a really fun YA adventure novel to read. It follows Alosa, who is the daughter of a pirate king, a renowned pirate king, who has sent her on a secret mission to get captured by a opposing group in order to find their copy or their part of this special map that is a treasure map to the island of Sirens. While she's there, she meets this other opposing captain's brother, whose name is Raiden. She doesn't account for the fact that Raiden is smart, intelligent, and incredibly hot. And also, he kind of has a thing for her, and she kind of has a thing for him. It's very fun. I really enjoyed it. It's so fast-paced, and we find there's a little bit of like mystical realism in it, for the fact that she is partially Siren herself, and so she has some magical abilities and powers that she can use to try to pull off this big ruse without anyone knowing what's going on. But little does she know that there are some spies amongst them, and her plans will not go as easily as she thought they would originally. I really enjoyed this story. Once again, super fast, super quick, super easy read, and I would recommend it to anyone who enjoys sirens and pirates and just enjoys YA adventure novels. I thought it was really well paced and just overall a great read. Blind Dates by Ashley Elston. This was a book, once again, that I can't believe I waited so long to read. I had planned to read it in like November, and then in December, and then in January, and finally I got to it this month, and I cannot tell you how satisfied I was reading this book. It was such a fun book. It follows Sophie, who's our main character, as she is devastated by a majorly shocking breakup with her longtime boyfriend. Now she is a senior getting ready to go to college. Things are about to change. Her sister is pregnant and about to have her baby, and her parents are going there for Christmas. She decides that she was going to stay back and stay with her giant, enormous Italian family. While she's staying with her grandparents and all the extended family that's coming in for Christmas, she is pretty much persuaded and talked into going on 10 blind dates that are chosen by her different family members within the group. There are so many different types of dates that she goes on during this time, and the whole point of it is trying to get her mind off of her ex-boyfriend Griffin and try to help her find someone that could be even better for her and for her future. So as she's going on this adventure, her sister is having complications, her family's far away, Griffin, the ex, comes back into the situation, jealous and ready to try to make things work again, and she still has to continue on with all these blind dates. And not to mention that the next door neighbor to her grandparents, whom she has known her entire life and has been super close with, is growing up and growing more attractive to her each day. The story was so fun. I cannot describe to you how much I laughed, how much I cried, how much I felt for this girl, because honestly, it's a story I think most girls can relate to and women can relate to, because we've all gone through breakups and we've all gone through times where we have to have moved on and learned to meet other people and open our minds to the different possibilities that could be out there, as well as learning who we are as women, as people. And I thought this was a great story. The writing was really great and fun and easy to read, and a perfect match for like a YA fiction. So if you love contemporary, if you love a little bit of romance, this was a great book to pick up, especially if you're just looking for an easy read. The Bear by Andrew Krivak. So this book came into our library. Originally, it was written down as being a juvenile. The publisher had accidentally, well, not the publisher, but the bookstore accidentally wrote it down as juvenile. This is not juvenile. It is definitely literary fiction. It is the Library Reads Choice Award for this month. And I have to say, I'm becoming very disappointed with the Library Reads award. I do not think this one was deserving of it. I will be completely honest with you. I got 75% the way through this book, and I couldn't do it anymore. It is very beautiful prose, very beautiful description, but the actual pacing of the story and the direction just kind of let me down in like a major way. Not to mention that Senor Andrew Krivak. Anyways, Mr. Andrew, he does not use quotation marks. And he has a way with never-ending sentences. I mean, there were some sentences that were almost half the page, and it was ridiculous. The longest running sentences in the world. It was so irritating. But once again, the story is about a young girl and her father living in basically the wilderness in a different world. Well, kind of like a parallel world, and it's the end of the world, like apocalyptic. So everything has gone and they're the last humans on Earth, and they're living alongside nature. And really, that's the story. That's all the story is. There's some a little bit of folklore to it, and someone had mentioned this was an allegory. If this was an allegory, I am failing to see the deeper meaning. Maybe because I wasn't into it as much, because I was really bored. It was very beautiful, and like I said, the first half of the book was excellent, minus the fact that they don't use quotations or they have run-on sentences. The second half of the book was not fun at all. So this is one that I actually ended up DNFing this week. If you read it or have read it, please let me know what you thought, and please explain to me what is the appeal of this book. The Food Fix by Mark Hammond. This book was incredibly interesting. It's very heavy and very deep. It talks about our society and our environment and our world in regards to food, and how we as humans need to start looking at food differently in order to not only protect ourselves like health-wise, but also to protect our environment. So it's not a diet book. It's not really one that tells you like what kind of foods you should eat and what kind of foods you shouldn't. Rather than that, it discusses food in the food industry and what the problems are and how we might fix them. Now, they do discuss them on different levels, like how society can fix them, how our culture can fix them, and then also personal, how we can affect our environment with food as well. Now, I would say this is, like I said, a deep read, but it has a little bit of a controversial feel to it. There are a lot of solutions that he puts out to fix our food waste, to fix the healthy eating issues in our country, to fix social reform with food, and some of them are a little controversial. Some are drastic, and I don't know if they would necessarily work, especially in our culture of America, in which we are a tolerant country and one that appreciates and allows everyone to kind of have their own lifestyles and choices. So I don't know if all of it would be acceptable for our country, but there are some really great thoughts here as well. So it is kind of a very thoughtful read. So if you like stuff about agriculture and food industry and social reform, this would be a really great book to pick up, and it's brand new. It just came out this month, so go ahead and pick it up. So I'm sitting here editing the first part of the video of what I've read recently and the vlog of my first week of the COVID-19 crisis, the social distancing thing, and all that jazz. So I realized I didn't have a video that was kind of a closer for it. I figured I might as well throw one together real quick and let you guys know. I hope you enjoyed the video of some of the things that we've been doing to keep busy during this first week of social distancing, as well as the videos of my current reads over this last month. And I'm going to try my best to get back on the reading bandwagon now that I kind of got like this nice groove to the kids being back early, and all that stuff. I don't even know what I'm saying. So, yeah.